Hello everyone. My name is Paulina Januszewska and I'm a journalist from Poland. And I have today a great honor and pleasure of hosting another discussion as a part of European Vegan Summit. Welcome to everyone who has decided to join this event, and in particular, of course, welcome to our special guest, Fabio Ciconte. Hello, Fabio. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so glad to be here, to be part of this meeting. Would have been great to see in person, but let's enjoy even online.
Maybe we will have another occasion in the future.
Yeah, of
And
course.
I would also like to thank the Green Rest Institute and other partners for organizing this meeting and this event. And before we begin our conversation, let me briefly introduce our guest. Fabio Ciconte is a writer and expert on food supply chains who co-founded the environmental association Terra and chaired the Rome Food Council. Fabio is also a regular contributor to Writer's Geo program and several leading publications. And his latest book will be the most important actually topic of our conversation, Il cibo e politica. I don't know Italian, but I hope I pronounced it
Perfectly.
well. Thank you. But in English, it's a powerful statement, actually. Food is politics. And it delves into, of course, the political aspect of food and its global environmental impact. So after this short introduction, you can get that I will have a lot of questions for Fabio, but I would also like to encourage you all to join this discussion, and we will devote the last 10 minutes of our 1 hour logging meeting to Q&A. So feel free to write us during the conversation your question, and you can do it by using the chat. So, Fabio, I would like to start from the title of your book, Food is Politics. Like I said, it's a very powerful statement, but also for some people it can be provocative or maybe radical. And in your view, what actually are the most significant, maybe cultural, maybe educational, maybe economic barriers that prevent people today from fully recognizing or accepting the deep political implication of the food system, and what is actually the biggest reason people fail to see that the political forces are shaping what ends up in on our plates. So what actually, or maybe a little bit of everything.
Well, let me first say thank you to the Rev Institute, especially to Anna and Morgan and all the team, because I think they're doing a great job. So that's why I'm happy to be part to join this conversation. Okay, answering to your question, it's pretty complicated because I think that food in general is one of the most political things ever. Can be used in several ways, in the good ways, in the bad ways. But behind every food that we eat, behind every ingredient that we buy at the supermarket, there is a political choice. It's not there any product because randomly it's been put there. It's because there is a political choice behind it. It can be historical choice, so that can start from the past, or can be some new ingredient in our diet. For example, you know that in Italy, one of the food that we are eating a lot is sushi right now. We are eating a lot of sushi. We looks like Japanese in our diet now. And of course, it's provocative, the way I say the food is politics. And I think that people know it. People know that it's really a political issue. They understand, they really know, they deeply know. But people, that means us, we are also deeply tired for the society situation. We are concerned because of the political situation in general, because our finances are not really good. So at the end of the day, when we go to the supermarket to buy some food, we are not thinking about politics. We are thinking the way we can buy cheap food, basically cheap food, because our wallet is empty. So we have to find a way to arrive at the end of the month. Supermarkets are the best scenario for hide the the political aspect of the food. Because if you think about supermarket, it's everything gray there. They are so good in hide all the injustice behind food, all the environmental aspect of food, like pesticide, like the use of soil, livestock. So everything looks green at supermarket. Green, cheap, so it's in a way it's like perfect. So they are able to hiding all the exploitation around food. They are able to hide environmental costs, all this kind of stuff. So we have the idea that the food is cheap. We have the idea that food is abundant and it's neutral. And it's not neutral. The food is politics. That's why I'm saying that food is politics. So we know it, but it's easier to not see it anymore.
But also you argue that the idea of the conscious consumer is a myth. And it's strong opinion, I would say. And this challenges widely held beliefs. And I would like to know, don't you worry that this stance might alienate or demoralize those people who have spent years making ethical food choices, and they might think that, of course, then well, everything what I did is actually meaningless. What would you say?
Well, I know that this can sound like discouraging in a way. You know, people think, okay, but we cannot do anything. It's not like this. So let me try to explain at least the point of view. Well, the first thing we have to emphasize is that every individual behavior is correct. So if we have a chance to buy organic food, to buy less meat, to do all the kind of environmental things that we always suggest, is a good thing. To the other end, in the last 30 years, I think we have just keep considering ourselves just as a consumers. We consider, we name ourselves like consumer, like if it's the only social category in which we put ourselves. We just have our consumers. For example, we are not people that go, we don't vote anymore. For example, we just think ourselves about the consuming act. That it's mainly an individual choice, not a collective one. It's not something that we do collectively with the others. The result of this, I think, in the last year was that the market, the institutions, ourselves, we put all the responsibilities on the shoulder of people, on the shoulder of consumers that let us feel guilty. Whatever we do, we feel guilty because we are not able to buy enough good food. We go to the supermarket, we buy the cheapest food ever, and we feel guilty. So the question is, it's our responsibility, or is a responsibility of the system that puts us in that contest. I think this is a provocation to just change the point of view. Because if we put all the responsibilities on the consumer's shoulder, we are not looking at the responsibility of the market, for example. We are not looking at the responsibilities of the institution, of politics, multinational, finance, etc. And we are not considering the thing that if you think about European people, so we're talking about a pretty rich continent, but for most of the people, they don't have an option to buy proper and fair and sustainable food. It's not an option. So why we have to let this kind of people feel guilty for all this kind of stuff? That's why I'm saying, okay, we can be individual agency, but at the same time, we have to shift the point of view. We have to change our point of view and to go back to where the responsibilities are. Because at the same time, market are doing this, are telling us it's up to you to change the world. We cannot do anything. You have to change the world. You have to buy good food, paying more. So we will become richer. But if not, it's your fault. It's not our fault. I think that we have to change this. I no longer accept the fact that the market is like making fun of us all the time like this.
How we can escape from this narration that we are guilty, because I feel very bad sometimes, and it's actually not my fault. But how you actually in practice reconcile this importance of systemic change and desire for the individual agency? You could find and tell us some examples of rational seeing these differences between these two options for fighting for vegan world, or maybe practice, actions. I don't know, something who will help us to feel better and brave to fight in the future.
Well, in general, I think that, let me say, we have to combine both sides, like fighting and asking for a systemic change in a way, and as individual agency. The two things are not opposite. We have to find a way to combine them. The problem is that in the last 30 years, we just are forgetting to look and fight for systemic change. We're just acting for individual agency. And if you think about just being individual, if you think about just being consumers, for example, you can, of course, you have to reduce waste. You can support local farmers. You can eat less meat. And I keep repeating, it's correct. We have to do it. But if we do it as citizens, first stop naming us as consumers, but naming us as citizens, we have to do it. So less waste, support local farmers, less meat, and then also join campaigns, vote for ambitious policies and politicians, hold corporation accountable, all this kind of stuff together. So I'm asking people to do more. Otherwise, we will pretend that we are saving the world just buying organic food, and it's not the way we can do it. And I think it's something that we can really do. And I think that, I mean, Rep Institute is one of the organization that is already doing it. My organization, Terra, is trying to doing the same in Italy. There are many organization, movements, NGOs, whatever, that are really trying to fight. And I think that people want to join this kind of fights. They want to be part of the change. Uh, uh, want to be part of the history if they have the chance to do it. So that's why I'm trying to just to change the point of view.
So I would say that it's about relationship and collective work, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the most important thing to do, but I would like to ask you about concrete or specific policies of or political intervention who are actually most important for now. And if you could choose three, what would it be for now and other actions?
Let me say that something that I always say, that is, I don't have easy answers. I don't want to give an easy answer as a solution for change the world. Otherwise, it would be too easy. I think that the first thing, if you to really realize that when we talk about food, we are talking about a very complex topic that's put together like several aspects that are cultural, traditional. If you think about our different tradition in terms of food, if you think about your personal history when you talk about food, my personal history when I talk about food, that are totally different, or maybe there is some similarity we don't know yet. And every have some kind of personal aspect. If you think about diets, so when we talk about food, we have to consider all these kind of aspects. So if we just saying that it's complex, we stop judging people about their own behavior. This is the first thing. Then to go deeply into some practical thing that have to be done, that it's not directly related to food. But one of the things that as organization we are asking, for example, in Italy, is that one of the most important thing to do about food as an environmental fight is to talk and to increase salaries, the salary of the people. If you don't put money in the wallet of the people, you cannot talk about anything else. Because at least in Italy, our salary are the really bad. It's like in the last 30 years, they are stuck, totally stuck. And of course, if you don't let people, and again, when we talk about people, we are talking about us. So if you don't give us the possibility to have enough money to spend for food, it's pretty complicated to make a difference. Another thing is about time. Can we say that the time it's a political issue in our life, that we don't have time for living anymore? That's why we are not cooking anymore. People, also in Italy, in its tradition about food, whatever, people are not cooking anymore. That means that they are feeding the multinational and ultra-processed food because they don't have time. And so this is a political aspect of food. And then there are other things. For example, around the value chain in the food, it's totally unbalanced because farmers don't get enough money. So you have to hire their, let's say, not salary, but their income. Workers, most of the time they are exploited. We are fighting a lot against this situation. In Italy, we know that it's all around Europe. There is a massive exploitation of especially migrants that are exploited for the harvest of fruit, vegetable, and whatever. So this is the kind of thing that have to be done. And then there is also something that is related to local food policies. I think that the future of food will be, let me say, that it's about define how food will be consumed in the cities. Because since we know that most of the people are going to live in the city in the future, we have to define which kind of food we're going to be eating in every city. So there is this movement that is growing a lot around the world. We are leading a part of it also in Italy, in Rome, for example, that is about food policies, trying to define which kind of food we're going to be eat there. So these are not three. I don't know if there are more, but it's like a list of things of priority that I think are pretty crucial for our future. I really believe it.
Actually, I'm surprised that you said that in Italy you don't cook and do the other thing and socially, I don't know, connect by the food. But I think that the tradition, it is an argument for non-vegans to say that Italy cuisine it contains and always contains dairy products and meat. And should we actually I don't know, concentrate on that or of changing this narration, or maybe it's not important at all, and you have other actions to do to, I don't know, maybe encourage people in Italy to, I don't know, make this vegan action?
Well, traditions in general can be fake, can be invented, or can be also over. There can be an over narrative about traditions. What is a tradition? For example, it's not true that the tradition in Italy is all related with about meat, because like 30 years ago, people that didn't have money for eating meat. Meat is for rich countries. The problem is that it's for rich countries, and as long as countries are becoming richer, the quantity of meat will be even higher. So this is a problem, but it is another issue. If you talk about traditions, for example, in Italy, you cannot talk about just one tradition because we have several traditions since it's a long country with a huge difference between the south of Italy and the north of Italy, the center of Italy, islands. They're super huge differences. But we have very long tradition when we talk about, for example, vegetables. We have a long tradition if you talk about, for example, like tomato. This is a tradition. Pig is not a tradition, it's a part of the history. But in general, we have been able to grow a lot of vegetable, a lot of food, but not just meat. Having so said, tradition is not enough for explaining or for justifying everything. When we talk about Mediterranean diet, we always have this thing to say, no, we have this Mediterranean diet that nobody know. Trust me, nobody know what it is. Just Mediterranean diet. It's like something in our dream, and nobody is eating Mediterranean diet anymore because we don't eat legumes anymore. We we are eating a lot of meats, but it's not tradition. It's just easier, and that's it. So I wouldn't use it. When we use tradition, we are using tradition as an excuse. It's like saying, well, in the history of humanity, we have been always eating meat. Okay. The humanity is like evolving. Now we have, how do you say, in artificial intelligence. So we are evolving as humanity. I don't know if in a good or bad way. But anyway, but we are evolving, so we can change something. Well, I lost the question. I don't know what we were talking about, but it's the I mean, it's about tradition. It's like to be aware that sometimes it can be like a very fake thing.
And Maynard Clark wrote that many Italian produce dealers in the USA had a very good health, and so did their families. They had a variety of products consumed daily. And we have a question: wasn't broccoli originally developed in Calabria, Italy? I don't know, actually. Yes.
Broccoli where?
Broccoli, Calabria.
Well, I'm from Calabria. I have to be honest. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
I don't think so, but I don't know. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check if broccoli is from Calabria.
Okay. So
Well, Calabria, for example, have many local products. The point is that they are not good, and it's very disappointing for me to sell and to sell themselves as a local producer. So we have if you think about Parmigiano Reggiano that is made like in the north of Italy, they are very good on sell it as the best product in the world. If you think about wine, the most famous are made in the north of Italy, no? Because they are better in like marketing. In Calabria, they are not good on this. Doesn't mean that they don't have good products. Because if you think about environmental condition in Calabria, they are very good environmental condition for growing. But I'm from Calabria, so it's pretty complicated to talk about this from my side.
And I would also like to ask you about the fact that actually global system of producing food changed also Italy and producing the tomato sauce, because I read the book of Stefano Liberti, and he wrote that actually tomatoes which eating Italians is actually from Ghana. And I think that there is a big problem
No, but
we can address.
No, but the Stefano is not saying this. There is this fake news in Italy that's saying that we are eating tomato from like China. That it's not Italian tomato, and whether that it's not true. It's not correct. It's just it was invented for make feel worried consumers in order to buy more Italian products. It was a marketing strategy to do it. The reality is different, and Stefano brought exactly the real story. We have been also working a lot together on the supply chain of tomato, going around Italy, talking with everybody about tomato. And the real story is that now China is it is the first producer in the world of tomato. Especially in the past, now it's changed, but let's say that some Italian company were buying a lot of paste tomato from China. This tomato arrived to the Italian harbor, transformed in another kind of tomato, and sold as Italian product, but in the Ghana market, not in Italy. So in the Ghana market, so a very poor country, very poor market, you could see this bottle of tomato, cane of tomato, with the Italian flag, even if the tomato was from China. But no Chinese tomato arrived to the Italian market. Also because according with the law, the tomato have to be made in Italy starting from fresh tomato. Otherwise, you cannot do it. So it's super interesting story when you think about tomato, because we are very huge producer. Our market is around 3 billion euro every year. Now in these weeks, farmers and workers are doing the harvest. And then it's gonna be sold everywhere in the world. I think that tomato is one of the most interesting supply chain when we talk about food. For me, it's like a kind of obsession, because I read behind that supply chain the transformation of the society. If I think about my grandmother, also my mom. I remember when I was child, when we used to do like the tomato for the winter, like every summer. No, now it's something that you cannot do anymore because you don't have time. It's like food is not part of the tradition anymore, like we were saying before. The conclusion is that you are buying a tomato that is ready to be just eat. So there is a transition of consumption that show how society are like changing a lot in the last 20 years. The question is how the society will change and how the food will be considered in the next 10 years. Because, for example, are we sure that we're gonna have kitchen in our house in the future? Because maybe we will not cook anymore, so the distance between us and the ingredients and farms and the farmers will be even longer, no? So this is something that we have to fight for. That's why I'm saying that food is politics more and more and more.
Yeah, I made a mistake because I thought about Ghana market of producing tomatoes actually was broken by Chinese tomatoes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, but I know, but now specific, and now I
Yeah,
remember.
because
Thank you for.
you are talking about an obsession with Stefan. We have been around Italy talking about tomato and the wheat producer like all the time. It's like, yeah. It's the same with Apple. We can have the same discussion with Apple because you know that we are both Poland and Italy, one of the two biggest producers in Europe. So we are like competitor in the Apple market. But anyway.
Okay, so maybe we can talk more about critique of corporate power and politics. In your opinion, who actually has the most to lose from the arguments made in your book? The multinational food corporations, or maybe politicians who actually rely on them for support?
I would say both. I mean, I see. Oh God, it's difficult. If I had to look at the responsibilities, I would say that they have the same responsibility. If I would be like a judge in a tribunal, I would say that they have the same responsibility for different reasons. Multinational is because they have to do business, and they are doing it like keeping the power and maintaining the power of the food, of technologies, of seeds. A lot. They have a lot of power when you talk about seeds, and that they are also very good on lobbying. And politics is can be very compromised by lobbying. The politics right now is not strong enough. I think that in Europe they are not really understanding the risk about agriculture and about food. They are not understanding, for example, that climate change are like a disaster, and climate change are caused also by agriculture. And even if they think, oh well, they think, even the politics, they say that climate change is important topic to be addressed. When you talk about agriculture, they are not doing anything. But it's not true. They are doing a lot, but in the wrong way, because they are like just cutting all the ecological measures that are related on that are part of agriculture process. Do you remember the farm to fork strategy that was part of the Green Deal? Well, the farm to fork strategy after the Ukrainian, the Russian invasion of Ukraine was just stopped. Nobody is talking about, in Europe, nobody is talking about farm to fork strategy anymore. If you think about, if you read the document that is called Vision for Agriculture in Europe for the next year, that is the last political document of Europe. So it's an official document. It's 28 pages. In these pages, there is the word farm to fork, the word Green Deal is disappeared, just disappeared. But I think it's really bad. I'm really upset when I think about it. It's really frustrating. That means because it means that agribusiness lobbying were able to convince politics, and European parliamentarian, commissioner, MEP, that all the ecological measures have to be cancelled, like saying that agriculture doesn't have any kind of responsibility when you talk about agriculture. And so that's why I'm saying that it's both multinational and politics have a huge responsibility when we talk about agriculture, when we talk about food. The next CAP have cut 80 billion euros for the next program. So that means that there will be less money for farmers, and the money will gonna be put just on the big farms and not on the small one. So we are like defining a scenario in which agriculture will gonna suffer a lot, farmers were gonna suffer a lot, sustainability will be part of the past, and but climate change will be it's already part of our life, and gonna be part of the future, and gonna be more and more and more and more a huge problem for farmers and for ecosystem, for the nature, that it's all connected. So that's why I'm saying I'm really upset when we talk about this kind of thing, also because there was a narrative that was completely pretending to say something else from the reality. So also making fun of our, talking about citizen intelligence. This is unrespectful for everybody. So that's why I'm saying that it's time for fighting. It's time for be upset. It's time for to stand together in this complexity, trying to look at all the situation. It's not just a matter of food. It's a matter of equality, of the injustice. I'm not going to talk about Gaza, for example, but it's something that it's also there, and it's part of this thing, because it's horrible what's happening there. And so that's why I think it's time to to stand for rights, to stand for justice, to stand for environment, and to fight against all this kind of things.
Yeah, it's very. I was upset when the European Commission, I don't know, a month ago, rejected as I think that very straight and not complicated law about fighting against greenwashing. So yeah, it was actually the one small problem to solve, and they failed in it, and it was so bad. So how can we do more biggest thing like when we can't do something as small as greenwashing? But I think that we should go to Q&A and listen and read comments. I think that actually our conversation is about fighting with inequalities and solidarity, maybe. And Jules Hunt wrote that recently read that silage used by farmers to spray on soil and veg is supplied by sewage recycling plants in the UK. Is it true? Are organic plants produced? Do you know something about that? Because I don't.
I think, are you reading here in the comments, right? Because I don't see the...
Or maybe Jules has some link to...
No, can you repeat? Because I was trying to follow the comment, but I didn't find, so I didn't understand the question. Can you repeat?
Yes.
Sorry.
Recently, I read the silage used by farmers to spray on soil and veg is supplied by sewage recycling plants in the UK.
This I don't know.
Okay, so maybe we could go to the other questions. For example, sorry, I need a moment. Casey Christian wrote about sexual gender issue and a very important book. I also recommend it, Sexual Politics of Meat, written by Carol J. Adams. So maybe you could tell us if in your book this topic is also important. The patriarchy actually is very connected to capitalism. So maybe we could connect a lot of fightings, feminists, or maybe should feminists all be vegan. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that one of the most crucial issue in food and agriculture is based on the fact that most of the farmers are men. In Italy, the average age is around 55 or even more. So the patriarchy is part of the actual agriculture. And we have a huge issue to the replacement. That means giving a chance to youth, to women to be part of the agriculture. So there is a huge connection between patriarchy and agricultural system in general. This is really, at least in the Western country, is like this, because other somewhere it's different. But I think, like, for example, in Italy, I think it's a huge issue when we do like conferences, when we do like events, when we meet farmers. Most of the time they are men. When you talk about meat, it's just men. Eating meat, it's cooking barbecue. It's a man stuff. It's just for men. No, it's like this kind of things like cooking meat, football, all these kind of stereotypes. No, and that's why I'm really emphasizing that food is not just about buying organic. It's not just about also be vegan. It's not just about personal, individual behavior. It's about society, because it's about politics. And since the gender balance, the patriarchy, and the capitalism are huge issues, huge problems, are affecting, and they are part of the food system. So that's why when we talk about food system, we have also to talk about all this kind of all this kind of stuff. Otherwise, I wouldn't be so obsessed with food and food system, and by trying to modifying food system and to trying to let them being more sustainable. Sustainability for me doesn't mean just this is just let food be more green. Sustainability is more a wider concept. No, so we have to try to think in a different way. And our movement, when we talk about food, have to also trying to being able to think like this for the future.
We talked a lot of about a lot of collective work and other things we can do together. But Casey wants to know, what can we as individuals do to make a difference in raising awareness? Also, she said that in the US, the farm to table movement has also fizzled. So it's very interesting to know. So we can have a hope. But what actually would you recommend to make as individuals, or maybe in groups, or maybe our local community?
Sorry. No, first of all, we have to be like optimistic. That is another political issue. We must be optimistic for the future. Otherwise, we're gonna be the mess even more. As individual, we can. I think we can be part of the journey. We can do our best in our daily life, like trying to take some time for ourselves, for like making some good food sometime. It's good. I think it's important. And buying some good food also, it's important, healthy, fair, sustainable. It's important, but also it's important to stop feeling guilty, because it's like what the capitalists want to let us feel guilty, that it's part of this game. And then like, for example, keep voting at the election. I think that we need to go voting, because I'm seeing, well, at least in Italy, there are less and less people that are going to vote. If you look at our politician right now, it's a disaster. If you look at the US, it's a disaster. If you look everywhere, it's like a disaster. The far rights are winning everywhere. And then the last thing is stop conceiving and considering ourselves as consumers. I would really suggest to canceling this word from our vocabulary and start considering ourselves like people at first, and then citizen for the ones that have the, let's say, also the privilege to be citizen of the country where they live, but people, part of a community, and trying to feel part of communities where you live.
I see that we have interesting discussion on chat, but I don't see a specific questions. So, actually, Casey asked, are there any vegan intentional communities in Italy where groups purchase land and grow food as hedge against a future in which we are controlled as consumers without being able to grow our own food? The homeless population has no land or ability to grow their own food. Maybe not only in Italy, I would ask also, maybe you know examples from other countries.
I don't really understand the vegan intentional
Maybe it's about you know collectives who actually.
No. I understand,
Oh.
but I don't know. As long as I know, I don't know vegan communities that are purchasing land and grow their own food. Specific vegan community. Intentional communities, yes. They're growing communities that are helping farmers to let them grow vegetable by buying food before they grow vegetables. But no, vegan intentional communities, no. But it's super interesting to understand. I'm gonna check. It's a second question. I don't have the answer, but I think it's important also to not pretend to have answer all the time.
Jules actually wrote that in UK are veganic gardeners and independent people who have joined the Veganic Organic Network. Maybe we should follow them, but maybe you have other examples who actually, maybe help farmers and other people to do some changes. I don't know, maybe you could recommend.
Now we are basically working on two things in Italy that are related to this. It's one about livestock, asking for a law, an Italian law that's gonna stop building new livestock. And then also talking about local communities, movement. We are working a lot on, I was saying before, on food policies at the local level. And this is super interesting because we are like in Rome, that is a huge city, you know, with 3 million inhabitants, citizens. We set up this food council that include right now 150 entities from farmers, researcher, environmental organization, vegan organization, institutions together to trying to define food policy. And the most interesting thing is to let different point of view talk to each other. Like if you let a farmer with animals talk with a vegan association about the amount of meat in the canteens, it's at the cultural level, at the political level, it's super interesting, with the goal to define policies for canteens for the future of children that eat there. So now we are like doing it now. Yeah.
It's very interesting, and I think that we have to finish because our time is almost gone, and I am convinced that we could talk like this for several more hours. But maybe it's time to translate these inspiring ideas and conclusion into practice and political action. And I thank you all for joining us to this discussion. Thank you, Fabio, for a wonderful conversation, and
Thank you.
thank you to every organizer of this wonderful event. However, it's not the end, because tomorrow at 4 p.m. Starts second day of European Vegan Summit. So I invite you to join to us. And what more can I say? Stay vegan and stay brave, political, and maybe radical too. Thank you very much, and see you on other meetings.